This conference will now be recorded.
So thanks everybody for being here tonight. This is our 8th session of our sort of intro to Greek. So tonight we're going to be reviewing some of the words we've already learned. Because of a mix-up, there will be no quiz this week for the Woodbury group. Next week's quiz, however, will cover basically all the words that we've done so far, and it'll be a little bit longer. It'll probably have about 30 on it, and it'll be all things that we've done up until this point. And just being totally transparent, I'm going to use a random word generator to pick which words will be on it. So there's not going to be any particular one favored, and we'll go from there. Any questions on that? Okay. So tonight we're going to do mostly review, and we're going to start getting a feel for translating. Sort of a disclaimer at the beginning. If you were to look up these verses in a Greek New Testament, they're probably not going to be exactly the way that I have them written out. Anyone want to guess why?
Did you translate them?
No.
Are you putting them in English order?
So it's if you were to look this up in a Greek Testament, what's going to be different? What have we not learned yet?
Well, aside from other parts of speech, the syntax will also be different. Like we don't know verbs yet. We don't know the case.
You don't know inflected forms. So what I've done is taken and put, like we've been doing, the lexical form will be the word that appears in these sentences. And if it's something where there's no way to figure out what I'm asking without knowing the tense, I wrote the tense beside it. There's at least a handful of kind of funny ones that I want to talk about when we get to them. Okay, so what we'll do, we got 1, 2, 3, 5 major groups of people, and I think I have 5 sentences before doing the 5 sentences before doing the just kind of rapid review. So what we'll do is we'll let each of the groups take a give me 1 second. Each of the groups will get a sentence. So we'll start out with, let's do Chris and Ab first. Are you ready?
We're ready.
All right. Give me your translation.
Okay. Now when the king Herod heard this, he
Was.
He was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him.
Yes. So, this is just kind of a review. One thing that you have to keep in mind is we learned that autos was he, she, or it, but the terms his, her, its, those all have the same lexical form, which goes back to autos. As you can imagine, autos is a pretty common word in these sentences, and it's going to be one that comes up several times in these exercises. All right. Let's have the Brost house do this one. And you guys can all work together.
Sorry, we didn't have it on. Jesus said to them,
and said,
what? Something stands written. Who
We're
shall
going back to autos could mean he, she, it, his, her, its.
yeah.
I'll tell you, if you translate the last part of it first, it'll give you a hint of who's being talked to, and it makes the rest of it a little bit easier.
you shall not put the Lord your God to the test.
Okay. So now that you know who he's talking, or you know where this came from, what do you think this is?
Jesus said to him,
Yep. This is where it gets a little bit hard. What is another word? How can
and
Yeah.
means and except when it doesn't? Okay, so there's kind of this funny story that one of my teachers told. He did his doctorate studies at Hebrew Union, and they have this one. It's 3 days where they do 8 hours of testing straight in some pretty intense language tests. And while he was taking his test, he was in a room by himself, and there was a monitor, he was being videotaped while I took it. And while he was in there was a piece of paper slid under the floor, and this is what it said, under the door, and this is what it says. Kai means and, except when it doesn't. So that's your hint.
That help you guys?
So, was this the first response that Jesus gave to Satan?
No. So
What was the
also,
first response? Yes, it means also. Yeah. So, can you figure out what this autos means?
it.
It. So Jesus said to him, "It also stands written, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test." I will tell you that once you learn the inflected forms, this part of it actually becomes a little bit easier. But what I'm trying to get you to realize is whenever we start doing parsing, it always goes back to the lexical form is the last part of a parsing. So you need to know whenever we look at some of these what the lexical form is. Good job. That one was tough.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the um, Victoria, why don't you do this one?
But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman to lust after her has already committed adultery with her in his, there, he, she, its heart, in his heart.
Yeah. Um, so I put this one in there on purpose where you kind of got to realize that these both would have the same lexical form. All right. So that one wasn't quite as bad as the last one. This is the one that I've got for Woodbury to do as a group. Woodbury, are you there?
Yes, we're working through it. Okay.
Okay. Just making sure. James is here for anybody who wants to say hi to James. All right. Let's do it this way. Who all is there at Woodbury?
All of us are here. There's 6 of us.
And we're.
All right.
Got it. We've almost got it. We're just not quite there.
Let's go one word at a time. Gar,
4.
4. This.
Toss,
This.
and then
I
a me. Well, in this sense, a me, it's a state of being verb. So I am, you are, he, she, it. Did you guys hear me?
Yes.
We got
So-
I am, are, he, she, it.
Yeah. What?
Okay, so
So
how
he, she, it was.
God loved the world.
Yep.
He gave his one
And
only son.
Because everyone. Okay.
So in this particular context, there's another way to translate haughty that makes more sense. That we would say more often.
He
You would say what?
believe in him.
There's a different word for haughty besides because. That I'm using this.
Therefore, that stands for. Yeah. So like, therefore, he should not perish.
Yeah.
But have eternal life.
But it's all
But,
there.
yeah.
I would say, so for haughty, I'd say that.
Echo is how.
Everyone.
Yeah.
That everyone.
Haas.
After everyone.
Everyone. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was about home or home.
Yeah, everyone who is.
Believes.
Believes in him.
Believes in who should not perish. In him.
But.
Should not perish,
But
but
have
have eternal life.
There you go. So there is an extremely literal rendering of John 3:16. I can explain to you why this has not been the traditional way we've done it, but we're probably going to get there at some point. That was the hardest one I have. So let's see. I guess this one's for anybody who wants to do it. Anybody want to try it?
And the disciples answered him.
Yep.
Let's see. Say, answered him saying,
Yep.
who?
What?
Somebody.
Come in here. Who?
Yeah, I was gonna say. In this context, there's a better one than why.
Who then do the scribes? No, why then?
Yeah.
Do
Yep.
the scribes say, what is that?
So haughty we usually think of as because, but what else can it mean?
Sense.
It can mean sense. There's one other one that, in this context, without rearranging the sentence, I think makes the most sense.
That?
Yep.
Elijah must
Go.
come first.
Yep. Yeah. Erechomai is the weird one. It means to come and to go. So you end up with some kind of weird sentences whenever you translate them super literally without looking at the content. So yeah, Erechomai means to come and to go. So,
I have
and
a
the
question.
disciples. Yeah.
So what's the difference between erechomai and exerchomai?
Exerchomai means I go out. So you combine the ek preposition, and it gives you a direction. It tells you which direction you're erechomaiing. If you ekerchomai, you go out. If you pros erechomai, you go to. If you ace erechomai, you go in. If you, let's see, what's some other ones? If you kat erechomai, you go down. If you, oh, there's a word for ascend. But anyway, whenever you add something to the beginning, it gives you a direction that the coming and going is occurring in.
Okay.
I think erechomai, I think, is best translated as exit, because that, first off, it acts as a little bit of a cognate to the English word, and also it separates the words more clearly, so that you'd be able to tell which word was being translated. The same goes with peruamai, but there's not as many of the contractions with peruamai. All right. So now, with what time we have left, we're basically just going to drill. I want you to pronounce the word and tell me what it means. We'll start off with taking volunteers, and if people don't volunteer, I'll start calling on people.
All, every, each.
How did you pronounce it?
Pos.
Pos, yeah. My it cut you out.
It
Good.
was
Pause.
because of James.
Oh. Let's see. This one.
What did you say?
Jeremiah?
Genemai?
How do we know? The three.
Jeremiah, it's I am, I become.
Yes, let's remember.
All right.
In order that.
The henna, in order that.
Yep.
In order.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah,
Boy,
that's that. I make.
I do, I make.
All right.
Tease. Who? Tease.
No, that's the someone, anyone, because there's no accent.
Oh, it's no accent.
That's anyone, someone. Certain one, anyone.
Yeah.
Can it
So
be
this,
something?
yeah. Anybody remember what I said this was called? The all-inclusive for that? I give another 10 points of quiz for somebody who can remember this. Okay, your note is cheating.
Indefinite pronoun?
Yes, it's the indefinite pronoun. Which is a kind of summation of all of those ideas. Someone, anyone, a certain one, something, anything, anyone, all of those things. It's a specific, undefined thing. How to wrap your head around that. All right.
Ass.
Okay.
Post.
Oh, sorry, I marked that. It's like it's supposed to be a breathing mark.
A, if.
I have the last one marked as I, not A.
Huh?
I have AYE written as a pronunciation.
Epsilon iota is pronounced like the EI in 8. I give it to you.
Oh, what are we?
That's Bob.
Right,
It's
what are we?
human or person?
Person?
Anthropos-
Mhm.
Human.
person. It's un, therefore.
Therefore. Therefore.
Comes at the end of the sentence.
On top of that.
It comes at the end of the chapter.
No, I haven't done this one yet.
Akuo, I hear.
Mhm.
Early on.
What was that? Thought I heard a question for Woodbury.
No, we're just talking.
Okay, Akuo's I hear.
Uranus.
Someone said it's Uranus. What does Uranus mean?
Heavens. Heavens.
What's that? Heavens. Anybody remember the heaven slash heavens? Anybody remember the thing I said about Uranus in the New Testament?
That it's mostly meant to be plural.
Yeah, and every time it's referring to heaven, it's plural. And one time there's a distinguishing thing that you can see, and it becomes a point of debate in Revelation, is the singular form. Is it always intended to be guy, or can it be more inclusive than that? So anyway, so it's always, anytime it is plural, it's referring to heavens. But the question is anytime it's singular, is it referring to the sky? That's the question that comes up, which is people have written entire dissertations on that. I cannot imagine how boring that would be. Okay. I don't think I don't remember if I've had this one on the quiz yet.
Eatu.
What does Eatu mean?
Isn't this the alternative to autos? Or like he, himself, herself, itself, he, she, it?
Yep. And what would that be called? Do you guys know what that is?
Personal pronoun?
Autos would be the personal pronoun. Think about whenever you say, blank self, who is it talking about? It's the same person, right?
Must be one of those circus mirrors.
It's the reflexive or the reflective pronoun. That's how I always remembered it. It's because it looks back at itself.
So what's the difference between this and autos? I'm not understanding it completely, I don't think.
So whenever autos is used as the he, she, its self form, it's always for emphasis. So you've studied a little bit ahead, so you know this. Do I ever need to use a pronoun with a Greek verb?
No?
Okay.
Well, you
So
might.
why then,
Go ahead.
why then do we have a nominative form in autos, aute, and auton for the for the personal pronoun? Why do we have that?
I guess just
Who
to
really, I think you're about to
stronger
say one of
statement.
them. So there's two major uses. If you don't want to learn this yet, you don't have to, but this is why it exists. So, two major uses of personal pronoun, particularly in the nominative case. This only really becomes a factor in the nominative case. So, the first one is for clarity. So, if you have a list of multiple parties and then you have one that's distinguished from the others. So say that you had John, James, and Mary listed in a sentence together, and it uses aute. Okay? The reason it uses aute is to clarify that it's Mary that's being talked about, not the other two.
Mm-hmm.
So the other is for emphasis. I don't know of any English translation that does this, but whenever you have it's usually an ego, actually. So you don't need the ego. We've already learned that akuo means I hear. The I is implied. But if you say ego akuo, it's like saying I myself hear. So whenever Jesus said, ego eimi, before his statements, it's to add and to draw attention to himself. So, like I said, I've not seen a translation that does this, but whenever he says, I myself am the bread of life, or I myself am the door, I myself am the good shepherd. All of those type of things are to add emphasis to whatever is being said. That is whenever the personal pronoun can mean self. Anytime it's like if you say Herod himself went up to, or he bought himself food, those would all be too. Is everyone properly bored with that conversation? It's one of the things that you start to pick up on whenever you start reading the Greek New Testament, that they don't waste words. Whenever they say something, it's usually to draw attention to it. And this is a particular case where it's done quite a bit, especially in the Gospels. Whenever somebody is speaking in the Gospels, you will see ego plus a verb, and it's usually to add emphasis. When Pilate is standing in the praetorium, he says, do you not know that I myself have the power to set you free or to sentence you? Same idea. Somebody once explained it to me. It's kind of like taking and pointing your thumb to yourself whenever you make a statement. It's kind of like that. Because it's not necessary, but whenever it's there, it usually is exegetically significant. All right. A few more. This one.
We. Is that what that is? I don't know.
Oida?
See right here? That's what it is. That's but.
One day.
That's two words.
He, she, it, knows.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We do. What? We do. Where did we get that at? Yeah,
I don't know. It looks like it.
that's right here. See, I've got it in my notes, but I can see it. No, I don't have that. I've got something else.
Yeah, I don't have that
I've
either.
got you and Bud as that. They got it in here. But we need to get it. Make sure you get that cat. You got that for us?
I think I got that. I got it, I'm writing it down, but I don't think I got it.
I remember something about it.
Well, right there, this right here, I've got means but.
That's what I say. That's what I've got, but that's not what he's writing.
No.
De. Is that what you remember? Yes.
Yes.
There, makes sense now. That's what I knew. That's what I was throwing off from.
Okay. Anybody remember the little thing I said about this word? It's just kind of a weird.
Indeclinable?
Yeah. You remember which one? What if you were going to assign it a tense? Which one it is?
Well, it's
In decline.
according to the definition, it'd be like present tense.
Okay, so we're going to expand people's mind a little bit. Do we know in the present tense? Do we have knowledge in the present tense?
We have past knowledge in the present tense.
Yes. So what do you think the tense is that it always is?
Future?
Perfect.
Perfect. You just defined the perfect tense. A past action with present results. That is the definition of the perfect tense. Does that make sense? Victoria?
Yes.
Okay. Because you really did. You defined exactly what is in the idea of the perfect tense. Past action, present results. So this word, we learned it in the past, but we have the knowledge now. So it's past action, present results. A few of these we went over last week. Anybody have any words that we went over last week that you have questions about? We sort of just did those, so I was saved them. Oh, here's one from a few weeks ago that I don't think we've talked about in a while.
Hemera?
Yeah, remember what hemera means?
Day?
Yeah. Did we learn this word?
I don't think so.
Does anybody know this word?
Oh, is this who, whom, or which?
That's with a rough breathing.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, I was looking at my list and I don't think I've done this one yet. So we've learned Allah, which is but. We've learned Kai, which is and. Anyone want to take a gander of what A is?
Or?
Or. So I won't test you on that anytime soon, but that is a word that is pretty common. And I didn't put it on the questions today because I couldn't remember if we talked about it or not. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. I
Yeah.
can't find my card. It's the word ekanos. And I know
Yeah.
you spent some time going over this last week, but I'm still confused about it.
Okay. What is the part you're confused about?
Well, I have on my thing compared to who toss, and you went through a whole
Yep.
long thing of showing, I don't know, I can't explain it, but
Okay.
I'm confused still.
So that and those is akanos. It's the far demonstrative. Okay. So whenever you use that or those, you're looking at things that are a considerable distance between who is talking and the object. Whenever we talk about hutas, it is this or these. It is the near demonstrative. And it's talking about something that's relatively close to the thing that's talking. So I have this pencil, you guys can't see it. I have this Apple Pencil in my hand. That book is across the room. Makes sense?
This makes way more sense than it did last week to me. Yes, it makes sense. Thanks.
Hey, Quentin.
So, yes.
Okay, what both Charlotte and I had on our notes from last week was you said that or there. Now you're saying those.
So the word a K. A K is the word for there. Nos is the word for thing, or the particle for thing. So the thing that's there is what this word means. That's what I was pointing out. Does that make sense? Who means here. So this is the thing that is here. That's where the roots of the word come from. That's what I was explaining last week. You get that, Glenn?
Yep.
Okay. That was all I was pointing out, is that there is a reason behind these two words, that they're made up of other words. What other questions do you guys have? Okay. So for the quiz for next week, there's going to be somewhere around 30 words, and I'll probably put 2 bonuses on it. So these will be worth 3 apiece. Victoria gets plus 10 because she came up with, which one was it? Was it the indefinite pronoun? Anyway, you get that.
Thanks.
Yeah. The quiz is on all words appearing more than 215 times in the Greek New Testament. So that's basically everything we've done, except for Amen. And give me just 1 second. I want to look something up. All right. So this is saying what I'm looking at. You guys have learned 40% of the vocabulary that's used in the Greek New Testament. It's pretty cool, only 8 weeks into this. So that means if you were to open up a Greek New Testament, every 5 words you would recognize 2 of them. Now, every other one of them is probably going to be a ha or a kai, but you still will be able to pick out words that are in the Greek New Testament, and nobody has to tell you what they mean. You don't have to go get Strong's to be able to figure it out. You'll know what's being used there. Any further questions?
I have a question. Actually, I have several. So,
Okay.
is the quiz with the 30 words next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Or is there also one tomorrow that's 30
There is not.
questions?
There is not one tomorrow.
Okay, there's not one
Because
tomorrow.
of
So okay, sorry.
I was going to say there was a problem with the scan getting to Woodbury, so there's not one tomorrow.
Okay, so then next week's quiz will be about 30, and is that cumulative of the 3 quizzes that we've done so far? Because on the link that you gave me, some of the words we did tonight, like didamai and akuo, those start, it's like list 3, it says occurring more than 250 times in the New Testament. But you said 215. Okay. I'm confused.
You go to the list. Okay. Do you have the list with you?
Yeah, I have it pulled up.
Okay. So if you see where Gune is,
Gune.
it's on list number 4.
Do you see Gune there, babe?
List number 4, 5 from the
That was the last word from last week, right? Gune?
yes.
Yeah, we're a little mixed up because we missed a week, and so we're
Okay.
trying. I don't see it still. Do you see it, babe?
Okay. Do you see number 5?
List number 5?
Yeah. The
Yes.
occurring more than 150 times? Okay.
Yes.
So above that, Edu, Hiko, Hello, Dunamai, Te, Gune. You got that?
No, I'm sorry. Swede keeps talking right when you are, so I'm trying.
Okay. Do you see Edu?